Hello everybody, welcome. We're back for the London session. I did upload an update in the Telegram channel with the new template. I changed the settings on this bottom indicator. It's called TMA slope. Made it a little bit looser, and also before it was set to 0.5, which is the level when it turns green. That's still 0.5, but now the highest level is 0.8, so we can actually see when it starts to come down. Let me show you that, zoom in here a little bit. Give you an example. So here, for example, so before it turns white, we already see the bars getting smaller. So we get an indication that we're about to swing over, because this indicator repaints a little bit and sometimes lags, so that gives us an indication that it is about to happen. I did the same with the top one here. This is also set to 0.8 now, so we can see if it's a really strong move, and when the bars come down, then we know, okay, there's something coming up. And the top one is back as well. Game plan as usual. We wait for 2 a.m., which is in about 10 minutes, and then I would love to see, oh yeah, there's something else that is new as well. Forgot. Sorry, my voice is shot. I'm also running karaoke shows, and I was working all night, so my voice is a little bit sore throat. Anyway, I also added the 4-hour fractal support. So now we have the 4-hour, the 1 hour, and the 15-minute. The 15-minute is the white ones. The 1 hour is the aqua blue ones, and then the 4-hour support is the golden dots. This helps us to determine if you or helps us building a bias. However, we also have to keep in mind that this is also repainting. And I also added GBP USD to the mix and got rid of US30. It's just too big of a spread. Those are decent spreads, and it's supposed to work on both of those forex pairs, so I'm just gonna use those two. Anywho, looking at charts, we had 4-hour support up here, and it was also outside of the band, so technically we're on a down move right now. However, in order to do that, I think we're gonna go up above the Asian session, sweep the liquidity up here. I don't think we're gonna go all the way up and take everything, but I expected, especially with the band is close to this support level or resistance level, so I think we're gonna sweep up here somewhere. I don't think we're gonna go all the way above the high, but somewhere up here, and then get an entry going short. If we are short, this helps us to stay in the trade until we actually see a golden dot go on the other side, if we're not already satisfied with what we have at that point. I go into a little bit more detail if we do get a trade tonight. Something similar on GBP USD. We also printed the golden dots on the top. That means we're changing directions to the downside. However, in this case we did not come above the band here. So I think we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go up, sweep the highs, and then start going lower. And in this case, I believe we will take the high because we did not really come outside of the band, and that's usually happening before we reverse. So Euro USD, like I said, we were already outside, so I'm not necessarily expecting the high to be taken, but at least the Asian session high. That's what I'm looking for tonight. So that's what we're gonna wait for. Yeah, that's my expectation. So we're gonna sweep at least above the Asian session high. Same here. And then hopefully get an entry. That's what I think is gonna happen. Now also we could theoretically sweep the Asian session low to actually go up there, get some gas basically to go up above the Asian session, sweep the highs, and then come down. That's possible as well. However, I'm only interested in taking a trade if we sweep the low, if you also hit the band. If not, I'm not interested. Then I just wait until it sweeps the highs. And if it doesn't, well, then there's no trade. Yeah, I'm sorry about yesterday, but I set my alarm for 1:45 and woke up at 4:45, which was way too late. I did not hear the alarm. I slept right through it. And then I was like, okay, might as well go back to bed and get some more sleep. So I set my alarm to, I think, 6:45, and I woke up at 9. Again, did not hear the alarm. So apparently I needed that sleep. So I did not trade at all. Currently the 500 count is at 485. So that US 30 trade that I left running after the last session 2 days ago did hit stop loss. And that's where we are at this point. Again, this is a demo account. I'm just trying to get to know the strategy better and get used to it, trade it, but I think it's very promising, and it's just a matter of fine-tuning it and also get it up and running the right way. Why is this so weird? Go back, yeah, that's better. Yeah. So let me zoom in a little bit here too. There we go. Like I said, there's a good chance that we also sweep the low. But again, I'm only interested in taking a long if we actually do get at least close to the lower band. If it just sweeps a little bit and then turns around, I just wait until we sweep the highs and then sell it. You can also see on GBP USD that the TMA band is slowly going down here now. So you went up, 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 and now we're kind of pointing down. Doesn't mean we're going down, but in confluence with the 4-hour dots, it's very likely that we go up. However, because we did not actually touch the band, I think we're still gonna go higher. And just check that I have the right settings. I don't even have the right settings here. Ah, shoot, that also means you don't have the right settings. Huh? Great. Well, if you are watching and you are using it, change the deviations in that TMA band, the 15-minute band, to 1.618. Yeah. So we actually did come out here. So this is valid. So in this case, I would be okay with a sweep of those highs here, and then maybe hitting an order block here, or is there a fair value gap? Let me check. there's actually a fair value gap left. Let me point this out here. So we had this. There we go. So this area is still not mitigated, and we did not touch the order block here. Here I think everything is pretty much, yeah, this is all mitigated already. Doesn't mean it can't come back here, I'm just saying it's unlikely. So we might just tap into this leftover fair value gap and then go down, so I'm going to leave this on here. We have another confluence. Let's check out Euro USD. That was also outside of the band already, so is there anything left here? There actually is. So we had a fair value gap here. Price did tap into it, but not all the way, so there's still a little bit left. So this might be a possible target. Let me drag this over here. There you go. So it's in here. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, that's 2. Let's see what we're doing here. Like I said, I'm only interested in how long if we actually do touch the band, because we clearly came out of the band on the other side already. In this case here, same here. So in order to take a long, I would like to see a touch on the band. Does come down. Okay, let's see. And it's almost hitting the band already. Nice. Okay, so we definitely swept the liquidity down here. Okay, let's see what happens. Zoom in here a little bit so you can actually see this. See, this is what I changed before. 0.5 was the max, so as soon as this turned red, it was just full bars, and now I changed it to 0.8, so we can actually see that it's actually slowing down already. This, however, is not, so I'm most likely gonna get a touch on the band from both of them. Now I'm gonna change this template again. Oh. Actually, let me save this real quick. I just posted template. So yeah, please disregard the template I put in the zip file because it's the wrong deviations setting again. I don't know why I overlooked that, but I did. Note. Copy. So here you go. There you go. Now you guys have the same one. Sorry for that. I will repackage it tomorrow and upload it again. I don't know why I overlooked that. Okay, so we did take Asian session low and we touched the band, so now I would be interested in a buy on GBP USD, even though technically we're going down, but I think we're gonna grab liquidity up here one more time and then actually go down, or at least go back into this fair value gap, leftover fair value gap, to take this liquidity up here and then turn around. I'll just see what price does, and we're just reacting to it. So it might not take the high, but at least take those highs out before it turns around. I also changed the settings on the Renko Street Trend. That was the wrong setting in there, so that changed as well. So if you're here, you can let me know if you can hear me. I check if anyone. Oh, nobody here. Okay. All right. I'm all by myself. I'm all by my lonely self. Well, in this case, I hope you can hear me. I have no confirmation. It looks good though. So. Just put this in the chat. Okay. So we touched the band, we did close above that. Lower high, and looks like we're creating a fair value gap. This hasn't caught up yet, but it was also a strong move down. So, and fair value gap is gone. Okay, so much for that. So no entry yet. Yeah, and regarding those dots, since we have the 4-hour dots now, if we do get into a sell, which is basically the new direction because we had the resistance dots on the 4-hour, and the TMA band is pointing down now. So if you happen to get into a sell, I will not close the trade until I get the golden dots on the other side. So even if it plays around a little bit, let me give you an example. So let's go back a little bit. So you can see, was it yesterday? Yeah. So yesterday in the London session, we had a trade entry down here, golden dots. So I would take my entry somewhere around here. It could have been here, and then I got stopped out. So I would have taken another entry here. This one would have worked, so it would have had one loss. Anyway, so you take your entry here, and then again, 2 trades with 0.5% risk, so that you have 1% risk on. The first target is always 1, 2, 3, and then stop loss to break even. So in this case, we would have. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm not sure if you can see that at home. So first trade would have been here, stop loss underneath, and we got stopped out, which happens. And then the second entry would have been actually on this, probably on this candle. This one would have worked out. So 1, 2, 3 would be 15 pips, which we hit right here. At this point, we set stop loss to break even. We already made back that loss and 0.5% on top. And then we let it go until we actually hit the yellow dots on the other side. So that's the first thing. We don't pay attention to price coming out of the band on top, coming back down. That's what I meant. It comes back down, then it goes up again, goes higher. Those are old dots, they're not valid. Goes higher again, comes down again. This was daybreak. I'm thinking, oh no, here, okay. And then goes higher and goes higher, and then in the Asian session, we actually get the yellow dots, so we exit the trade. We can enter it because it's outside of our trading hours, but actually this might be a kill zone in Asia. I have to look it up. There's also a kill zone in the Asian session. So this might be in the Asian session kill zone. That's right in the beginning. So we would have taken this trade from all the way down here. This was our risk, 5 pips. So this was our risk, 5 pips risk, and then somewhere around here. So let's say here, it would have been, let's say 80 pips to round it down. So you would have a 5 pip stop loss and a profit target of 80 pips roughly. That is a 1 to 16, I think, something like that. Anyway, that's why I added those dots. I'm tired, I'm sorry. I was working all night. So I came home and relaxed for 30 minutes, and now I'm online. I'm kind of hungry. I only had a small dinner tonight, but I'm not eating anything now. I'm just gonna do the London session and then get some rest and sleep. So I won't be able to do New York tonight as well, or this morning, unless I happen to wake up again. Then I'll let you guys know in the Telegram channel, but the way I look at it right now is I'm not gonna make it for New York. Okay. Yeah, if you have questions, let me know in the chat. And also, if you can hear me, that would be great if you can do that. It looks good, but I always like to get confirmation. Looks alright. Oh, did I close it now? I closed it. Dee. One pop. There you go. Do we have an entry here? Did I mess it? Yep. So did we? And it came above that high. That was not a fair value gap. That was already filled. No, doesn't look like it. At least not a clean one. Okay. Let's just wait a little bit, see what happens. Maybe if you don't catch the long here, like I said, I'm waiting to price come up here and sweep those two highs, because we still have a little bit of a fair value gap left over here. So it might be a draw on price. So if we sweep those two highs into this fair value gap or leftover fair value gap, I'm possibly looking at a short. Of course, only if we get the right signal. And if it goes, it could also go higher and take the high of the Asian session. That might be too. You never know. And same thing here. We got a little bit leftover fair value gap here, and also highs from the Asian session right underneath. So there's a good chance that we go at least into this fair value gap, possibly even taking the high from yesterday. So, and if I don't get a trade going that way, that's fine as well. Then I'm just gonna sit on my hands until I get the trade going short. No fair value gap. Here was a fair value gap, but I went past that. So that would have been a loss right there. I prefer to see like a fair value gap right from the get-go on one of the first candles. This is very efficient price delivery, and yes, we did have a fair value gap here, but it was not even respected. Price went just through it. If it would have respected it, it would have never come below this candle here, but it did. So no real entry yet. Same here. We did have a fair value gap here. We did break above those highs, but then price came all the way back to the bottom, and actually I think it even swept it. Let's see, the low was 22,847, and here it was 22,847. Now it's equal lows actually. Interesting. That is interesting. Okay. And another fair value gap that is not respected. Yep, just broke below it. So in this case, it hasn't touched the band yet either, so I would like to see that first. Right here is still red, so no entry yet. This might change now because it's climbing higher. That's why I changed the settings, so now we can actually see how it goes, how it becomes weaker and weaker, even though we're not in the buy area yet, but at least we can see that we're getting there slowly but surely. I think this is the better way to go, so we can prepare better. Here we were white and white and had a green bar up here. However, I don't see any fair value gaps here that have been respected so far, and I mean bullish ones. So I'm not liking this here. Here we did touch the bed. When this turned white and this turned green, this was still red, so that was not a valid entry. And here it hasn't really swept the low yet of the Asian session, and we did not touch the band. Here we came below the Asian session and we did touch the band, but we're just now turning white. That means we have to wait for the next, this middle indicator, to do another swing in the negative, and then turning white again, and then this one confirming that we're going up now. That would be a trade for me. kind of like explain. Trying to look for something similar here. Yeah, here's an example. Short. This turned white, this turned red. However, at that point this was still green. So now we have to wait for that wave to complete, make another bullish wave, and then when it turns white again, then we're waiting for this one to give us confirmation. So the entry would have been right here on this candle. So we would have not gotten stopped out here. And then we definitely would have had our 1, 2, 3. What is that? 4.5 pips. 4, 8, 12, 13.5. So let's see. Yeah, we would have had our 1, 2, 3 for sure. And here we have a similar situation. Now we had this turn white, this turn green, but when it happened this was still red. So now we have to wait for the wave going down in the negative again, and then coming up again, and that's when we look for an entry. I hope that makes sense. And here we did not sweep the Asian low yet, so, and we did not touch the band, so I'm not interested yet in anything here until it sweeps something. And I know that this candle came below these lows here. However, it did it on the last candle of the Asian session. That was this candle, and that was the first candle of Asian, the last candle of Asian session, and then we did not sweep yet. It might still go up, don't get me wrong, but I'm not interested. I'm just waiting for a short setup here once we get up there. Oh man, I'm tired. I got a haircut today. Yay. Did something. Just checking on my game here on my phone, because right now there's nothing much to do. Still in the waiting position, like I said. There's no setup yet. Okay. So this is going up, but not respecting the fair value gaps that are formed. That's very interesting, because we did have a fair value gap here, and let me just mark it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, We had a fair value gap from here to here. Not that I would be interested in this one because it's not in the discount area. If you take a fib from the low to this high, it's not in discount. So, but you can see price did not respect it, came right through it and closed all the way down here. And this would have been the low of the fair value gap, and it went even below it. So it seems now it's going up, but again there was really no entry here, and we did not sweep the lows. And it's just weirding around too. And don't forget, London session, we start pre-London session. So we start at 2 a.m., just 1 hour before London actually opens. And then we go until 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a 3-hour window. Preferably I would like to be done before 5. Be out of the market by then. And most of the times it actually happens. If you look yesterday, let's go to yesterday's session. You can see here we swept the lows here. We got a valid entry here. Yeah, right on this candle here. Stop loss underneath. There's a 2 pip stop loss. First target is 6 pips, then we had 6 pips right here, so hit the target, stop loss to break even. Then it comes down, stops us out, even though this has already turned green. So we can take another entry here, and we get the green light here. However, I do not enter on a bearish candle when I go long. So I would wait 1 candle for a bullish candle, which is the next one. Stop loss, in this case I would probably put down here again, or actually on it, so 3.2 pips. 3.2, that's 9.6. 1, 2, 3. Gets hit here, and you set your stop loss to break even again. This time it does not come back, and then it takes off. And again, you can stay in the trade as long as this stays green. Once this turns white, you can see this turn green again, but in this case here it turns white as well. So you could have closed the trade here, or with that new 4-hour indicator you just hold the trade even though it goes against you again, until we actually hit the golden dots, which was here. So that was right at around, I would say about noon. So you could have stayed from the first hour of the London session until noon New York session in that trade, if you wanted to. I personally, I would have called it a day up here and be done for the day. That's a massive trade. That was, let's see, that was 3.4 risk reward, and then let's say we get out on this candle. This is here. Those 52 pips with a 3.2 pip stop loss. So 53 and divided by 3.2 pips. That's a 1 to 16.5. That's more than enough. So you would have 2 half trades with 1, 2, 3. Well, let's just add it up. So we had 2 1, 2, 3 trades plus 16.5, so plus 6, and then divided by 2, because it's a half percent risk, we have 1% risk. So we would have made 11.28% just on this move and the short moves here. That would have been enough for me for the day. I hope you have the same mentality. That's plenty. And let's look at GBP USD yesterday. So here, a very similar setup. At 2 a.m. we sweep the lows. This is red, red, red. So we wait until this turns white. Starts turning white here, and we get an entry here. Stop loss underneath. In this case, we do not get a 1, 2, 3, and we actually get stopped out, so that's a loss. But then we get another entry right here. But this, I probably would have waited on this until this candle, to be honest. That's what I have to water a top for, because it would be a little bit too close for my taste. So that would be a 6.9 stop loss, and then a very similar exit right around here. So that would be 54 pips with 6.9 pips. How much was no, sorry. Where was it? Here. 54. So 54 pips divided by 6.9. So that would be a 1, 2, 7, and then we have 3% on the other half. So that's 10.8 plus 3, 10.82 divided by 2, 5.4 minus the loss, minus 1% on the loss. So we would have made 4.4 on GBP USD. So between both of them, you would have had a really good day, even with the loss. I don't like this here. I don't like this here either. It is going up, but it's not respecting the fair value gaps. That's ridiculous. Anywho, let's see if we get a sweep here. Like I said, minimum I want to see is those highs. Ideally, I want to see the Asian session high and a tap into this fair value gap. If you get a signal right after, I take it. But we also could sweep the high before we turn around. So let's see. We did not get an entry going long here because we did not sweep the lows. So that would have not been a valid trade for me. Here we did sweep the lows, but I mean, you could have considered this an entry, I guess. Well, what was this? That was only 3 pips. Oh well. Missed it now anyway. Yeah, so that would have been the entry here. That's only 3 pips. It looks more. So let's see if we sweep the highs here. And that's gonna be, in my opinion, the move anyway, because the last golden dots that we had was resistance. That means we're going down. So I want to be in a short. And if you do get a short up here somewhere, same here, I'm definitely gonna take it, and I'm gonna stay in it just to prove a point. It's demo account anyway, until we get the first golden dot and then a valid exit signal with the indicators. If it doesn't take all night, because if it goes into noon New York session, I'm gonna be asleep, so I'm not gonna stay in that long. Let's see what happens. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to touch the TMA band, because we did touch it on the top already, so that is fulfilled, and we did not touch on the bottom yet. So I would consider that valid as long as we are in the dynamic premium area. Here we did touch it, so I would love to see a touch of the band before we turn around. Let's see what price does. Yeah, we did get a second wave here, but we did get a second entry signal on the Renko Street trend, so that would have been valid for me, because at that point this was white and this was white too, so this would have been a valid entry, which would have been this candle. Stop loss here, like I said, 3 pips, and we will be on our way. I kind of missed that, so that would have been a valid trade. I missed it. I'm tired, like I said. And 1, 2, 3 would be here. So let's see if price comes up there. On Euro USD, like I said, we did not sweep the Asian low. You could argue that last candle of the Asian session did sweep the lows, but it was in the Asian session, so I don't consider it valid. You gotta follow the rules. Even though if it's on just right before our session starts, doesn't matter. I'm not taking it. It's not valid for me, even though it would have worked out, obviously. This one would have worked out. We're almost at 1, 2, 3 on GBP USD. I kind of missed it. Like I said, I'm tired. So now we would have hit 1, 2, 3 stop loss to break even. Very nice. And then most likely it's gonna hit at least that TMA band. But I would be happy with a touch of the fair value gap. We did sweep the high here now in Euro USD. Okay, so now you gotta pay attention here, because I'm definitely interested in selling this. Reason again is last golden dots were resistance. This means we're technically in a down move now, and I want to catch an entry to go down with price, and then hold it as long as I can, ideally until we get the golden dots on as a support, but that depends on how far price goes before we get this. I'm not gonna sit here until New York session noon, AM session is over. So we did sweep the highs here. Let's see what it does. We also have a similar scenario here, a little bit left over fair value gap here. Totally missed that one. Oh well. So let's see what price does here. Like I said, minimum I want to see is a tap into that fair value gap. Ideally, I want to see come into the band because we did touch it here. However, this might later on shift down, and then it will be a touch. So gotta keep that in mind too. This repaint, but at least fair value gap tap, which would also take the other high here, or the liquidity of that high. We're almost there. Yeah, looks like we touched it. Maybe a tick higher. Yeah, now we definitely went in there. We touched the fair value gap. Now let's see what price does. So if you get a sell signal here, I would consider it. And we did touch the band here as well. Definitely took liquidity. So let's see if you get a sell entry here. On the tick in the fair value gap. Doesn't mean it's going down now. But it's right where I wanted it to be. This is what I would like to see go higher a little bit too. Tap into that fair value gap. Take the highs here as well. But it did at least touch the band, so I would consider this valid because we did take out those highs. So we're looking for sales on both of them. Again, what do we need for a sell? We need a red arrow and a yellow arrow going down, and we need confirmation down here. Check something. Yeah, that's gone. That's the only downside, that even though it says non-repaint arrow, it does repaint as well. But when you switch time frames and go back, because we did have a red arrow here before, that's why I did this. So it went up to 5 minutes, went back to the 1 minute, and now the arrow is gone because price went higher. Look at this tab, right? Always on the pip. Here, not quite. Did not tap in yet. This would have been a nice trade. Would have set my target to the fair value gap here. Would have tapped this out right there. Right on the top of the wick. Okay, now we took liquidity here as well and tapped into the fair value gap. we created a second 4-hour resistance here. That's interesting. Yeah, so we have one up here and one up here. So I definitely expect price to go down. Just a matter of waiting for an entry here. Not quite there yet. However, we can now see that the move actually weakens already. That's why I changed this. I did not respect the fair value gap. Interesting. Well, it didn't close yet, so let's wait until it closes. And here we can see it tapers off already as well. So it's a good sign. Now I would like to see the same on this one here and here. And then we might get ourselves two sells. Let me see if it respected the high of the fair value gap. Nah. Put a line here. Okay. It did. Barely, but it did. Okay. It's interesting. So we all wait here. Not right here yet. Stop loss. Down there. Jesus. So we also have a fair value gap here and the market structure shift. How much would that be? 4.7. That's not so bad actually. Alright, I'm gonna put a pending order in here. Candle closed. Second one. Let's see if it took. Okay, so we have two pending orders with 0.5% risk on GBP USD on that fair value gap. We did take out the highs and we did come back into that fair value gap up here. And now we create a market structure shift here. We broke that fractal with a candle and at the same time we had displacement and we also had a fair value gap. So in this case I'm happy to put a pending order here. And our stop loss is 4.7 pips. Just there we go. Then I'll make it up there. And also right here. Okay. And we went very quickly from 1.7 or what it was down to 0.52. that's a good sign. Oh yeah, something that I totally forgot to mention. I also put the higher time frame here. So in this case, the M5. You can see where M5 is standing. When it comes to that indicator, we're actually already in sell mode, minus 0.14. So that's an additional confirmation. Same here. On this bottom indicator, we have the M5 higher value here. It's also already in sell, minus 0.11. So that's an additional confirmation. I totally forgot to explain that. I think by default this is M15 1 and 4 hour. I changed it to M5, M15 and 1 hour. Since we're trading on a 1 minute time frame. You don't have to look at the M15 though, it's just M5. So that value alone that's enough. Same here. So that's an additional confirmation. So now let's see if we get tagged in on the GBP USD. 4.7 stop loss. That's actually really not that bad, especially since we're still on the top. Yeah, we're still on top up here, so we got ways to go if it goes. Let's see if we get a tag here. Here it's still full on green. Yeah, even though price did shoot over the fair value gap, it did respect the high of the fair value gap, not by much, but it didn't go over the high, and it closed underneath it. So I mean, technically that we could have taken a trade there as well, but we had a market structure shift. With this placement, we created a fair value gap right here, and that's why I have my order. So let's see if price comes back and picks us up here. What was the total of the last move? Let me see. So it was roughly from here to here. It was 80 something pips. So if you can catch 70 with a less than 5 pip stop loss, that's perfectly fine. Oh, it did not set the profit target though. For neither one, right? Okay. Oh, no. Okay. Change the profit target for one of them. Something like that. 4.7, 12, 2.1, 14.1. There we go. That's a 1, 2, 3. Doesn't look like we're getting picked up, but that would be the first target for 0.5%. that is a market structure shift. Oh shit. Hey. Stop loss right here. And I'm actually gonna take a instant sell here because we are in the fair value gap, so we did get an entry as well. So the reason why I took a trade here is we had a market structure shift here. We did tap in the fair value gap. We did take liquidity up here, and we created displacement. This right in the fair value gap right now. My entry would have been down here more like. So we got actually a little bit of a better entry. Stop loss. Stop loss is right above the first candle of the fair value gap, right on the top here. And okay, let's leave that 1, 2, 3 here, and let's remove this. So here it actually, that's weird. Here it actually gave me the take profit. The other one it didn't. So let's take the first one, remove the second one. There we go. Yeah, it looks like we're not getting tagged in here. However, on EURUSD you have it. So, I mean, we're not really wide here yet, but we were not wide on this one either. And this happened, so I'm going by ICT in this case. I'm going to disregard those indicators. We just take out liquidity. We went back into to the fair value gap that was left over. We created a market structure shift with displacement and a fair value gap, and that's where I took the entry. So that was a pure ICT concept entry here, and this would have been an ICT entry as well, but the price never came back so far. Oh, and we already have the orange or golden dots here. Look at that. So let's see what happens here. So this looks good. Who's messaging me? This is interesting. Okay, so we had, I'm gonna remove this order now because it's not tagged us in and we're already on the other side of the band. So plus we have the golden dots here, so this is a little bit too sus for me. I'm gonna remove that. So if you have questions, you can always ask me in the chat. But yeah, let me explain this here again. So if you go back here, there was a fair value gap actually from here to here. Well, originally it was all the way down to here, but we filled that part already here. So this is all that is left over basically. And now we swept the Asian high which is exactly where the blue dots are here, and tapped into that leftover fair value gap. We reacted from it, and we created a market structure shift with displacement. So this was the last low before it went higher, and we also have a fractal here, and it did close underneath it, created a fair value gap right here. Let me put this on here. So my entry would usually be on the bottom of this, but price was actually higher into that fair value gap, so I just market executed with my stop loss above here. Took 2 positions with 0.5% risk, and the first one is set to 1 to 3. So this is down here. So that's the first one I would like to see go. And if we do hit this, then I will set my stop loss to break even. So and that's against my indicators on the bottom because they're repainting like crazy. So I just went with ICT on this one. And on GBP USD it did not come back to tag us in. And I would have left that order open even though we touched the TMA band. But we touched the TMA band and we got the golden dots. So yeah, they do repaint, and I'm sure there's more room for movement to the downside, but this doesn't put the probabilities in my favor, so let me put it that way. So I'm staying out of this here right now. And again, we got a trade on Euro USD. And all you really need is, I mean, hell, 1 to 2 would be enough every day. But like I said, if you can make 3% a day, you're doing really well. So game plan now is, like I said, I want to see this take profit hit. As soon as that hits, I'm gonna set a stop loss at break even for the other half, and then I wait until I see golden dots, and then I wait for a reversal entry. But that's gonna be it for me for tonight. That should be at least 3.5%, 4%. That's good enough for me. And I'm also very confident because the take profit is before the TMA band, so we definitely should hit that. And bigger picture, just to repeat, we had the 4-hour resistances on the top, so we're making a move to the downside. The last move to the upside was this, so you get an idea. Not saying it's gonna go the same, but even if it just goes half, so we're looking at roughly here. So definitely should hit that 1 to 3 here. Too bad we didn't get tagged in here, but it is what it is. And we're going towards profit target 1. Yay. Yeah, and we missed one trade here. Like I said, this was a valid trade because it did sweep the Asian low. The first signal was not valid because at that point this was still red. However, we got a pullback, so to speak. I call this a pullback because we turned red in between and then we turned green again, so this would have been a valid entry. And then this would be 3 pips, so 9 pips. Would first target would have been here. And in this case I would have set my second target to the fair value gap, and we hit that as well, because that was basically counter trend. So, and here, like I said, I'm very, very confident that we hit at least that 1, 2, 3, and then I set my stop loss to break even. So we would have made 1.5% at this point, and then if the other trade works out for like maybe another 2% or 3%, that's plenty. So of course it would have been nicer if we would have caught this as well, but it is what it is. Yeah, but this was a pure ICT setup without the indicators. This is my vape, by the way. The old school people already know that, but I used to smoke. I was a heavy smoker, and I quit and started vaping, and that gave me the opportunity to actually not touch cigarettes anymore at all. So I haven't smoked a cigarette in let me see, over 10 years now. Wow, 11 years. So I'm not one of those trend vapors, or it's everybody's vaping, I need to do it too. I actually did it to quit smoking, and it helped me to quit smoking. It was the only thing that allowed me to stay away from cigarettes, so I'm happy about that. Might not be the best either, but it's definitely better than cigarette smoke. And it doesn't stink either, so just as explanation about that sound that you hear in the background. Yeah, and before we hit 1, 2, 3, I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving my stop loss or anything. So again, in my eyes, this is with the trend. We had the touch up here. We have the golden dots 4-hour resistance twice now. We did come back and swept liquidity here. So this trade should work out. Doesn't mean it will, but it should. So I'm not moving anything until we hit this here. We also have a little bit left over fair value gap here. So this was the original fair value gap. And this is left over fair value gap. And here we did fill this one. So it might come back here. Which is okay, like I said, I'm not moving my stop loss until we hit 1, 2, 3. if I'm correct, it doesn't have any reason to come back to my stop loss. And if I'm wrong, I want to be out of the trade anyway. Oh yeah, and regarding that open trade on US30 yesterday, that was actually taken in the silver bullet hour. So I changed my rules to if the trade happens in the silver bullet hour, I will use a 1 to 2 stop loss, 1 to 2 risk reward, because that's what most YouTubers actually use in the silver bullet hour, and that would have actually worked out because we were past 1 to 2, and then it hit stop loss. So that's a new rule that I set for myself. If the trade setup happens in the silver bullet hour, I'm just shooting for 1 to 2. Simple. And that would have fit yesterday or 2 days ago. Just as a little side note for you guys. I'm losing my voice. Jesus. I didn't even drink. I only had water all night. Like I said, I'm very confident in this trade going down. So I will not move my stop loss until we hit this 1 to 3 first profit target on half of the position. This is the only reason to come back, and this should not go past my stop loss. I don't care if it plays around here. And again, if it does hit my stop loss, then I was obviously wrong, then I don't want to be in a trade anyway. But I don't think so. Like I said, if anything, it might tap into this leftover fair value gap here. Which should I take one more? Actually, screw it as a demo account. So I'm gonna set a pending order right here on that leftover fair value gap. Same stop loss above the high of the fair value gap formation, and I'm just gonna take one more order here. Just one. There you go. And in this case, I'm gonna remove this profit target. Oh no, I shouldn't have. Because I'm not sure if I get tagged in. Okay, so 3.8, 9, 2.4, 11.4. Okay. So let me put this back. 11.4. Two. 3, 4. Okay. That's for this trade. Hold on a second. I'm a little confused. No. maybe my math is wrong. So 1 to 3 is right here. Yeah, I'm not deleting this yet because I haven't tagged it in that pending order yet. So if it comes down now and hits my profit target here, then I'm gonna delete the order on the leftover fair value gap. And this order has the same stop loss right here above that first candle of the fair value gap. Technically there's another fair value gap. I didn't see that. Right here actually. This is a fair value gap, that's for sure. Just leave the order on this one. It's fine. So again, if you do get tagged in this order, then I'm gonna remove that take profit, and this is gonna be my first 1 to 3 here. And if you do not get tagged in, then I'm gonna remove that order and take my first take profit here. Just so you know, I would not do that on a live account, but I'm curious if this is a demo account, so I'm not worried about it. I want to see if that order actually gets hit or not, because I still think it's gonna go down. There's no reason to come back unless it wants to sweep again. Then I want to be out anyway. Excuse me. Tagged in now, tagged in now on this one too. Let's see. And like I said, it's technically there's another not order block, fair value gap here. So I might tap into this one as well, which I don't care because I have my stop loss above here anyway, which is the higher of that formation. Either way. So we got another order. Now we got 1.5% on it. And now it's probably gonna hit my stop loss. Okay, but in this case we are tagged in now. So this is gonna be my first take profit, which is 1 to 3 on the one that we just added. So I'm gonna remove this one. And and this is gonna be our first take profit. So when we hit here now, then I'm gonna set my stop loss to break even. Sorry, I'm not very talkative tonight. I'm exhausted. But I hope you can understand my thought process behind those trades. Okay. What was that? Juice. There we go. It's going down. It's going down. I'm yelling timber. Keep going, buddy. Keep going. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to check for news. That is a no-no. So, where are we? Yeah. Anyway. Oh, we did have news right at 2. Damn. Okay. Let me refresh. Yeah, we actually had red folder news right at 2. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't check beforehand, so let's see. The rest of the day we have USD news in 5 hours. Yeah, in 5 hours I want to be out of the market anyway, so okay. Now it's after 3 already, so okay, so we're good. Like I said, by the time we get the next red folder news, which is PPI month over month for September USD, that happens in 5 hours and 2 minutes, and by that time I'm definitely going to be sleeping, so we're good on the news. But there was indeed high impact news on the euro. I totally forgot to check. Oh well. Look at that, Euro USD did really come back for that little fair value gap there. This pair is so manipulated, it's ridiculous. This is probably because it's the most traded pair. This is so heavily manipulated, it's not even funny anymore. Not even GBP USD is that heavily manipulated. It's manipulated too, but not as bad as Euro USD. So it would be nice to hit profit target or TP1, so I can actually set everything to break even. Especially since I have 3 positions running now, so 1.5% risk. We have very efficient price delivery though now. There's only a tiny little gap that I see right now. very efficient price delivery. Hope it's not so efficient that it hits my stop loss. Just having a good time. Deep, deep, deep. Okay. Hope not tomorrow. Come on, I want to go to sleep. There's really no reason to come back here. Did this change again? No. Check here. Yeah, we did take that liquidity. We filled the last of the fair value gap here, so yeah, there should be no reason to come back here. Should go down. Unless it wants to go into that fair value gap as well. Which either way it doesn't matter because the stop loss for both of them is up here. Right above the candle. Well, I put it right on the top, so maybe I should put it a little bit higher. But I'm gonna leave it there now. Like I said, should not go much higher than that. So that would be the most to tap into this one here, in my opinion. This leak. Okay, so it did tap into that other fair value gap as well. But that should be it. No more. Let's go down. Let's go, 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 go. Enough with the shenanigans here. Yeah, so it did actually fill that other fair value gap as well. But this should be it. Like I said, now it does have no reason to come back. Unless it wants to sweep the highest, then it's going to sweep my stop loss as well. Let's see, so far it respects the fair value gap. As long as it doesn't close above it. It might spike over it, but it should not spike into the stop loss. And it should not close over it. So, wick is okay. Come on, I want to go to sleep. You know, it doesn't hurt to say hi when you stop by. Jesus, it's not asking that much. Okay, this looks good because now we also have the 15 minute resistance here. So you can see 4 hour to 15 minute support and then up to 15 minute resistance. So that's another plus, something I like to see here. So that might mean that we actually will go down now. So what I'm gonna do, because I'm fairly confident that we're going down with the Euro USD here. If we do hit 1 to 3 here, I'm actually not gonna set my stop loss to break even though I just said that, I know. But it looks like we're creating another fair value gap here, and this is very close, so I'm just gonna set my stop loss from up here above this high, just down here. It's still reduced risk, but it might actually come back here because we do have an order block here as well. So I do not want to put my stop loss right in the way of it. So I'm just going to put it above that high. Nice. It still reduces the risk from up here to here. And then I wait until we create a lower high before I move it to break even. Preferably I want that lower high to be way below that entry point here. I mean, it's gotta go at some point. I played around enough now. This looks really nice though. Got some nice moves. This actually crossed over here as well. Crossed over to the downside. So yeah, this looks actually really good. Let's see if we hit TP1 now, but I think we will. It says labeled here. Huh. Same here. Is it gone? Yep, no more label. This keeps happening. I get this label for lack of better words, but it was in both templates. I don't know where that actually stems from. So the market shifted down again. Yeah, just by a hair, but it did. So what is it doing now? How well it was. Let me check. consensus. I'm not liking this. Stop me out. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Alright. I'm gonna take the hit and hit the bet. I'm gonna call it a night here. I don't have the patience right now, or the stamina to stay up longer. Did not expect that, but it was a clean setup. Like I said, we did take the Asian high, and I'm sure we're gonna get another setup here to sell, but I just can't stay up anymore. So I'm up for 18 hours now. I need some sleep, but you get the gist of it. I hope so, at least. Yeah, gonna call it a night here. Thanks for stopping by and not saying hi. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Could have at least said hi or something. Anywho. Oh, it's gonna take the high here again. Okay, 1 minute. A couple of minutes. Just want to see if it takes the high here, actually. It does. Interesting. No, I don't think this is a liquidity grab. I think there's a continuation here. Let's go to 15 minutes. This is the 15 minute now. Just checking here. Well, it might be liquidity because even on the 15 minute we are wait for a while now, so this might just be a liquidity grab. And we're taking the Asian high here as well. Strong candles, holy moly. Anywho, I'm gonna call it a night here. It was a loss. It looked good. Nothing I can do. I will see you guys tomorrow. You all have a great day, or good night, or whatever, depending on where you are. Thanks for stopping by.